from WCIA 3 Plus. With Taylor Mitchell. This is Chat with the Chief.
Welcome back to another Chat with the Chief. I'm your host, Taylor Mitchell. This week for Chat with the Chief, we are sitting down with Taylorville Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for driving all the way to Champaign. We love seeing you in person. It's been really nice to get to know you this morning. I want to talk a little bit just about your background, your experience, and how you got into law enforcement.
Yeah, I come from a family of police officers, and I grew up in the city of Chicago, went to school in the city of Chicago, and actually in the city. I went to Lincoln Park High School and went to Ogden Elementary School. And then from there I went to the military, then went to school, college, and then started working some side jobs, and then got into law enforcement out in Cook County area, and stayed there, and came here I've been police chief in Taylorville since July 1st, 2019.
So we kind of have a similar upbringing because I'm from Chicago. My dad is a Chicago police sergeant still. How was it growing up in the city of Chicago with your dad as a cop? I just want to know more about what your experience was like. I know that policing has changed over the years, but what's your experience?
Yeah, back then it was we were kids, we enjoyed. I love Chicago. It's my hometown, and growing up, especially in a police family, we would think we'd get out of the things, and that really didn't happen.
Yep.
But no, we had a good time. I remember one time a friend and I we were on Lakeshore Drive, and there were some ice balls, and we threw them at the police cars driving by, and back then you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they chased us down and took us in. And
what did your dad say?
Yeah, he was mad. He was mad, and but it was what we liked about it too is, you do something in the neighborhood, the police would take you right home to your dad, and my punishment was more at home than it was with the Chicago Police Department. That was for sure. Yeah, so.
Yep. I can definitely relate on not being able to get away with absolutely anything. I just felt like, how did you even know?
Oh, you can't fib.
Yeah.
Police officers are trained to read right through that. So yeah, but my dad. I got a lot of family members in it, and it's just it was just something that I wanted to follow through with, and I did, and I love the job, and I still have passion for the job today after 25 years, and I just things have changed a lot in police work. We have to deal with we have to adapt to the Safety Act, which is fine. There's good parts of the Safety Act. There's other parts I think that could be changed with the state legislature, but besides that, we have to adapt to the laws, and that's fine. We all know that Illinois has max excess of officers leaving, and we have recruiters all over the place in other states that want police officers from Illinois. So, and I think. Things will change, and it'll get better.
So you having a lot of family in law enforcement, is that kind of what made you want to go into it?
It did. I speaking about the FBI, that was something that I thought about.
Talked a little bit about.
I thought about starting out in, and then I wanted to be more on the street side of things, and most of my career was in gang and narcotics. And gangs is what I worked hard in, and up north they give you nicknames and things like that. So my nickname was Tex. They wouldn't call you by Officer Wheeler. They would call you or Sergeant Wheeler, and they would call you by your nickname. The gangs would, and it's funny how things change. There was respect back then between the police and the gang members, where we if we told them to get off the block area, they would leave. And in Taylorville, we don't have any gunplay, which is good. You know, we've gotten guns off the street there, but luckily we don't have any shootings. So our last homicide I think we had was about 3 years ago. But our drug problem is something that we deal with. Did a lot of drug arrests and working gangs. So coming here, you know, one of my jobs is I have to do is I want to mentor the young officers today, because when I depart, you know, we've seen a huge decrease in drug crimes in Taylorville, and my job is to mentor these officers. So when I depart, okay, I can leave a legacy with them where they can keep going and keep our city safe, and that's my main goal today, is to have these officers know how to do search warrants, okay, know how to do overhears, which is where you could wear a wire, you know, and we have all the tools in Taylorville to do these, and I just want to keep teaching and teaching and teaching, so that when I do leave, they can go ahead and just keep going. And I got great officers. I got great officers, so I'm happy with that.
How has your experience prepared you to be police chief? That is a big task to take on.
It is. You know what? I'm not political. You know, it is. I have a great. I can't say I do have a great mayor and board that are pro-police, but you know, one thing in policing, you know, what a chief has to do is not be a yes man. You know, we have to take care of our citizens first. My report card, the way that I was taught with my mentors in my life, and which I still have, you always have to have mentors you have to turn to, and I turn to them all the time. Your citizens are your report card. It's not your city council or your mayor. The citizens will make or break a police chief, and our citizens know that, you know, I will prioritize what the board asks me to do. You know, if it comes to a parking complaint or a drug house, I'm going to pick the drug house before the parking complaint, and that's what we have to do, and that's what I do, and the board understands that.
That's incredible. Any cases that stick out to you in your career that you're able to share with us?
Yeah, you know, in my career, I've had, working gangs. You know, I've seen a lot of it,
And being in Chicago.
You know, when it comes to, organized gangs, you know, today the gangs are not organized like they used to be. Back in the day, they were very organized, and we did a lot of, a lot of cases, you know, especially with homicides and things like that. I've had some, trauma. You know, I was involved in a fatal shooting back in 2008, where I shot someone, and you know, it was a justified shooting, or else I wouldn't be here today. But
sorry.
Yeah, back then it was. Just like today, a shoot team would come out and do their investigation and find out if you're justified, and then they have to do their job, and you don't know who they are that comes out. And I was in the hospital also, but they were real respectful, and they did their due diligence with the shooting, and they said it was justified, and then. My boss asked me when I wanted to come back to work, and so I, talked to my family about it. They said, get back on the street as soon as possible. You know, don't sit at home thinking about this, and and that helped me a lot mentally. I got back on the street and went back into gangs and drove around, and we did our jobs, and the gang members knew what happened, but it's just they were fine with it.
Sounds like you have a good support system.
Yeah, it's especially the guys I worked with were great, and
it's not easy.
No, and I've seen I've been involved in several instances where shootings took place, officer-involved shootings, and so I know what the police go through. But today, the hesitation police have to save their own life or others, they know when they pull that trigger today, you are a defendant, and you're guilty until proven innocent, and that's sad. By the public, instead of our due process, it seems like it's taken away from us.
Right.
And that's why cops are getting hurt today, because they're hesitated. And it's not a funny joke, but some cops are like, if they shoot me first in the vest, then I think I'll be okay if I shot him back.
Right.
I mean, that's sad.
It is
to
sad.
say.
It is sad.
But it's it's a split-second decision, and I'll tell you, I mean, any officer that you talk to, you don't remember the shooting.
Right.
I don't remember what happened. I remember what happened, but I don't remember pulling the trigger. I just don't.
Of course.
And and it's funny when it comes to education-wise, like we were talking about before. I got a BA in criminal justice, a master's in clinical mental health, and so I enjoyed the master's degree with clinical mental health, just to why people do what they do. I love that. Even today,
Right.
Why did you do what you did? It's fascinating to me to find out, why you did this. And then currently I'm working on my PhD candidate. I should be finishing up, hopefully, if my my chairman and my co-chair. I'm on my 4th chapter, my dissertation. So
You got this.
yeah. So hopefully I'll be done December and January.
Good.
Hopefully December this year, and then with my PhD, and that's something I want to use in my next chapter of my life.
Lots of accomplishments.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good time to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about a program the Taylorville Police Department has. We'll be right back. Yeah, alrighty. Well, we are already back. So you have the Safe Passage program. Tell me a little bit about that and why it's important to you.
I think the Safe Passage program, just to be blunt, is the best community policing tool I've ever seen.
Good.
We've had the broken windows program where you want to fix the broken windows. I mean, even the bike program is great, but anything, coffee with a cop, standing on top of Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
Those are all great, but this program blows everything away. What the Safe Passage program does is we want people in active addiction to come to our police department and ask for help. So how it works is we don't go out and outreach and find someone who's on active addiction walking down the street. We all know that you can tell, they're homeless or they're walking around, moving around. They're called tweaking, basically. We don't stop them and say, hey, listen, why don't you get some help? Come to the police department. We gradually started this program. It really blew up in 2019. When I started the program, it was Judge Brad Paisley, who is really into giving people second chances of addiction, and he's really into recovery. He's got probably the best drug court in the state of Illinois by far. He learned about this program in Massachusetts at a meeting that one city was doing this, and their crime rate went way down without hiring more people or being more proactive. And so we talked about it, and it sounded great. So I took the bull by the horns and said, you know what, I think this might work. So we started to talk about it with people, and then we got people to come into the police department, which a lot of them, they would come through the back door when they're arrested, but now they're coming to the front door asking for help. So you come into us and you say that, listen, I'm addicted to heroin, my life is not manageable, and an officer will talk to them and show complete compassion. That's the main word, is compassion. We have to show compassion. And the stigma of a person, who's an alcoholic, who's a drug addict, today it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, yeah, I used to be on meth, you just shrug your shoulders today.
Right.
It's not a big deal. Or I'm an alcoholic. Okay, you don't drink no more, which I like. There's always an underlying mental health problem. They could have been sexually abused in their life.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up in a bad house, childhood. There's all kinds of reasons why they're on drugs now, to numb their feelings. And we try to figure out what's going on that way, because there's treatment centers that do dual diagnosis. And that's what we do. Once we find out that what their drug of choice is, we contact the treatment center. Now, what's nice about this is that the treatment centers that we contact, we have them all over the state, that if you're inside of our police department, you're in there, okay? You're safe. You're not going nowhere. The treatment centers know that they're at the police department. It's not like I'm calling from my house in my bedroom because I'm just sick and tired of being sick of these drugs, and make an appointment, and they're holding the bed for you and you never show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens with these treatment centers.
Right.
Now, them being inside the station, they know that they're going to be transported by either volunteers that we have from. We have a lot of volunteers when it comes to people that want to drive these people that are suffering to treatment centers, or a police car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll drive them to the treatment center, so we can get a bed almost right away. We don't got to wait. So that is a huge plus, because once that person walks out that door, they're probably not coming back, because they're going to go out with the same friends and do the same drugs, and then they're not going to come back. So we have them at the right time. Now, if we can't get a bed, we put them up in a hotel room. And when we do that, we check on them. We always check on them, make sure they're okay. We'll feed them, we'll clothe them, because they have nothing when they come in. They lost everything. So we do all that. But now, once they get into treatment, it's just not helping him. Mm-hmm. It's helping their families. Their brothers or sisters or moms or dads that are just worried, scared to death they're going to overdose. So that builds a relationship with the city.
Right.
Look what the police are doing. They're taking their time out of the day to drive my son or my daughter to a treatment center when they don't have to do this. Okay? It doesn't cost them anything. This is all free. And so we've helped over 1,200 people since 2019.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And our recovery group is so strong in Taylorville that, before these meetings, they would have, 2 or 3 people show up at NA meetings, and now they got 30 or 40 people. But it's grown so much that the recovery, people in recovery say, hey, listen, give the Safe Passage program a try. Because this program is self-funded by donors most of the time. Grants, I've been blessed in the last 4 years by getting grants to help, with hotel rooms, gas cards for people who are driving, the clothing, and the food, and give them some extra money for just when they go to treatment, because they have nothing. So what happens to our crime? Okay, common sense tells you a person in active addiction to support his habit does what? He steals. He breaks in people's houses, breaks in people's cars, does bad things. Okay, might rob you on the corner, might take your purse. You never know. Okay, so because when you're in active addiction, you need that high because you go into withdrawals. So if you end up making that person better, what happens to crime? It drops without us doing anything. It's not me telling my men and women, hey, get out there and start busting more people or arresting more people and get more proactive and this and that. And I got a great team of officers that do that anyways. But it's easy because now, our drug arrest has dropped 53%. That's unheard of. That is truly unheard of unless you want to hire 10 more guys that just want to chase dope all day. We don't have to do that with this program. So it because the dealers, okay, the supply and demand's gone. The users are not there, so they have to go elsewhere to make money. And plus we run them out of town. And also too, the recovery people that I love them all, but we know how it works is those cravings don't go away. But she was at what you call a trap house, which is a drug house. Why she was there, I don't know. But she did call before she used, and she called me, and I went there and picked her up, and got her back, and I go, what happened? And she said, well, I had a fight with my boyfriend, and that's all it took.
Yeah.
So she's back to normal now, and
That's incredible.
but I think the best part too is seeing the women getting their kids back.
Right. Yeah.
That's huge.
It's huge.
Huge. I think Heather and Joe, they were living in dumpsters. Okay, and so they came to the program together. They were just boyfriend, girlfriend. Now they got married. She got all of her kids back from DCFS. They have a house now. I mean, I got so many stories.
You do.
I got some that they work full time. One few of them work for Blue Cross Blue Shield at home, have their kids back, all because of our this program. So if I do travel to police departments and say, hey, listen, if you don't join this program, it's easy to get involved with. You're doing a disservice to your city.
Really? Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
And do it because it works. The stats don't lie. The dockets in the courthouse don't lie. I hear it all the time from the state's attorneys and the judges that their caseloads are way down because of this program.
Yeah.
They're not dealing with these
great.
guys. Yeah, so it's called Safe Passage. You can go to our website, Taylorville.net, and then look at it, and we have everything about the Safe Passage program. They can call me anytime, 217-824-2211. I'll be more than happy to go to any police chief's office and sit down and bring a package with them, how to get started. And if they want us to even, I could send my coordinators down there to help them get it started. So I'd be more than happy to do that. And I've done it to a couple communities already, and it's snowballing right now.
Lots of success, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. So.
Alrighty, well, we are going to take one more break, and when we come back, final thoughts with the Taylorville Police Chief. Welcome back. Wrapping things up, we've got about 1 minute left, so I just wanted to ask you, just to leave on a high note, if you were not going to be in law enforcement, what would be another job that you would probably have if you weren't in law enforcement?
Well, as of now, when I leave law enforcement, if I get my PhD, I want to be a professor. Okay?
Professor!
Yeah.
Very cool. You want to teach specifically law enforcement?
I do. I want to teach criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
And, with the experience I have and also with the degree, I think it would be a great fit, to help these students out. So I always want to mentor kids and give back to the youth. I got great mentors, and I want to be a mentor. So, but yeah, I mean, growing up, law enforcement was the only thing on my mind. I
Yeah.
mean, it's when you come from a law enforcement background, it's in your blood,
It is.
and it's helping people. I mean, that's all it's about. Still today, it's showing compassion towards people and truly knowing that life is not easy. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
We every day, it's called discipline. We have to get up and grind. And I want to teach kids this, and let's understand it's not easy, but you got to work hard and grind. But you know what? Enjoy the journey. Just enjoy it.
Taylorville Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler, thank you so much for being here with us today. We look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us. We'll have more law enforcement officials come in next week. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for joining us with Chat on the Chief. I'm Taylor Mitchell.